We're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Let's Talk Real Life with Miss Nada Manning. I'm your co-host, Coach Vernon Garrison, and tonight is definitely a follow-up to a prior show. Or if you're seeing the shows in whatever order you're seeing them in, every show is a monster of great information, life-changing information in reference to God's kingdom and reference to us being here and enjoying ourselves and having a healthy discussion. Jump in on the discussion, by the way. This is WECU 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, Christian media with the spirit of excellence, and it's called Awesome Radio. That's right. Jump on your dial locally or jump on Facebook, Awesome Radio Facebook, Awesome Radio YouTube, and we're also reaching out on a platform called GPAT 23, Awesome Radio, and Facebook. So long as you catch it, you caught it. Now see if you can join us on this very good discussion. Um, we're going to try to speak in all languages, but a little risque trying to do that. So we're going to give our points from our position. But I want to talk more. I'll let Miss Nada Manning introduce the subject a little bit more to you, and then we'll be coming at you. Send us a note, a question. Tell us how you like, what you feel about the show, how we can improve the show, or subject that you might want to hear us talk about. It's time now. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Nada Manning.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, all of the above. Hello, hello, hello. We are going to continue with living single. That is the basic topic of our discussion for the next few weeks. We left off last time with the marriage, the definition of marriage of today. And I believe Coach had some additional information that he was sharing right before we became live that may not have been mentioned last week. And that the it is a wide variety of views on telling you the definition of marriage today. Unlike yesterday, which is what I said last week, yesterday meaning back in the day. The question is, what is the definition of marriage today, as it is today, the most current definition, the way it really is today? It's still supposed to be a binding contract between two people. Yes, that did not change. But it's the whole idea of how that contract is to be held. In legal terms, one can say that contracts can be amended or modified, changed, whatever those two words can mean to the two people. But it can be quite tedious today. And I'm sure it was tedious back in the day as well, but it's just a different mindset. So Coach is going to elaborate on that just a little bit, and then we're going to go into the next part of living single. We're not going to spend too much time on this marriage thing. Right, Coach? Right.
Hey, that's beautiful. I think living single is living not being married. And those of us, those who have hope to be married one day, and then there are those who just don't ever want to get married. And then there are those who don't want to get married again. And then there are those who continue to get married again and again and again. But that you just covered it, the lifelong conventional union between one man and one woman, you know, that's a lifelong, like leaving parents, joining together, a physical union, companionship, sexual intimacy, procreation. That's huge. My thoughts are they're not everlasting, and divorce rate is still pretty high. The last I looked, we were getting, and you got to look yourself, those who listen to the show. Some statistics may be wrong. Some, You gotta look in your neighborhood. You gotta look at your friends and see if people getting a voice. Okay, yeah, you check that out. There you go. I'll put that one on you. To me, I think it's a sacred relationship to be held close to the heart. The thing that I was saying is people will get married on financial reasons or provisions from one or the other who can provide the most or who can provide the best. I think that's materialism in marriage. Living single, whew, been single now, I don't know, maybe about 6 years. It don't look half as bad. It definitely ain't half as good as I thought it was. Okay. I'm not having the fun that I thought I was going to have. I do have a lot of freedom living single, but then you find ways to give that away through commitments and through, tasks that you fill your life up with sometime. And then when you know, get those things out of your life and you get the clutter out, then, you know that there's a space missing, but you don't know what to do with that space. And so what I do is, and then I'm gonna kick it back to Miss Nate is I learn things about who I am and what God has called me to do. So I don't waste time. I don't sit in a dark room too long and twiddle my thumbs. I get to hearing the voice of the vision so it can be plain and clear. So anybody that want to read my vision can read it and then we can run with it. So, but I was griping before Miss Nada. I was like, women don't know what to ask men about marriage and whether they want to get married and pre-qualifying a man to marry you. I don't think they're asking the right questions because they're just looking at how much you got, where you came from, who you were with, and what you want. That's all they're looking at. They're not saying I want to be that helpmate of that God sent to Adam to complete the both of you. They ain't talking like I know we'll have a great time living together as partners, lovers, and intimately tied together in spirit. I don't hear those conversations going. So I'm not attracted to a lot of women that are saying that they're attracted to me because I'm a total different spirit being than I present as in the flesh sometimes. What do you think?
You different, all right.
Did y'all hear how she just said that? She just said that like I'm not just a black sheep, or I'm just not the baby of the family, or I'm just not the especially the uncle that you got that can't get right. Did y'all hear all of those references in the voice that she just used? She just called me can't get right, Uncle No. She just called me a lot of things, y'all.
I just said you were different. That's all I said. You added all that other stuff in there. So, I mean, yeah. I didn't say that. I just said you were different. You different, all right. You put it out there, and I just put emphasis on it.
I can't smile too much because I'm missing a tooth. I'm missing my tooth in the back right there. One of them teeth gone, so I can't smile as much as I want to. Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, the world is full of laughter, folks, as we talk about real life, and that's what this is all about. We're talking about real life. As you can see, we are being as genuine as we can be. It's not all serious all the time. Every now and then something might come out from left field like that one just did. Yeah, you different, all right. You said it. I didn't say it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. You just tuned out.
Anyway, on a more serious note.
Yeah, like they're more serious.
Yeah, on a more serious note, the idea of today's marriages is definitely somewhat different. And I believe from my heart that those of us who have been married or those that are married right now, that we can be very informative to those who are thinking of marriage, to those who are in an early stage of marriage. I believe very much in counseling. I believe very much in counseling before and during the early stages of marriage and there's no age limit on that. Because none of us are too old to learn. And I believe we can learn quite a bit from those seasoned married folk. Seasoned mean they've been in it for years, and they are willing to share their ups and downs and how they handle it. And they have to be open and honest with the couple that's trying to get there. And one of the things that I have learned is the key thing to me, two key things, is communication and honesty. Because you can communicate and still not be honest in what you're saying. Because you can be beating around the bush, leaving out stuff, and therefore it becomes a trust issue when the other individual find out there was more to it than was shared. So two key things is communicate and honest. Be honest with each other. If it didn't come out right, or you didn't do something right, or you messed up, be willing to hear what really happened and not get bent out of shape about it, because appreciate the honesty. And that's going both ways. If you appreciate the honesty, at least he or she was honest enough to come to you in the first place about what happened. And to put a little twist on it. See, sometimes, I don't know if they still use these terms today or not. And they'll say, how do they start? See, what happened was, this is the way so-and-so and such and such. This is what happened. See, what happened was. And usually here lately in today's relationships, that see what happened was is a signal of, wait a minute. What did you do? Explain yourself or not. Or sometimes the other person, once you say, I see what happened was, they think that you're trying to getting ready to make up something as you talk. But see, what we have to do is remember to hear one another out. And when the other one come to you, hopefully they will come to you with all honesty and sincerity. And because you're so into each other, then you will be able to pick up on that he or she is really trying to be upfront with you. Give them a chance to explain whatever happened, whatever it was. That communication piece. So communicate and be honest are the two key points, in my opinion, about the marriage thing. And I think that should continue throughout the marriage, not just at the beginning, but throughout the marriage. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Well, I'd say you're doing a marriage seminar. You trying to say something wrong with marriages too?
It's always something wrong with any relationship, because there are no perfect people. Whether you're married or not, it's always going to be something wrong somewhere. The thing is to know what that wrong thing is and be able to handle it together, to fix it together, and not be so secretive away from each other. You know, it's a point where, you really wonder, what's the secrecy? Because that in itself right there can raise some red flags. Why you got to be so private? Aren't we supposed to be one? So, we have to be willing to be open to that fact. Just come on out with it, whatever it is. So that's all I'm going to say. We want to move on now away from the marriage thing. We ready, Coach, or you had something else to say?
Yeah. I'm going to say this for the record. I want everybody to know that I do want the best for everybody that's married. Okay? I do want the best for everybody that's married, and I will support you. Sometimes I do get a chance to give advice. I do to people that are married, and my best advice is, like you said, is communication. Um, except one thing now that has not changed. It's the people that are in very relationships.
Say it again.
I said
Repeat.
it's one thing that I say about people that are in close relationships or that are married. That one that's always debatable, it's a good conversation. The truth. If something is wrong.
Say that again.
That big green. Should
Say
you
it again.
tell the truth? Should you tell the absolute truth when something is wrong? Okay, it's easy to brush over and say y'all should communicate. But should you tell the absolute truth when something is wrong? And sometimes the answer to that is no. It is the timing that you do tell the truth, more importantly than telling the truth. Telling the truth. Because yeah, that's the little debate there. That's a whole show in itself. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay.
I just wanted to say something to be relevant.
I remember, I think I said last week about okay, how did I put that? It's we're talking about being honest, telling the truth. And I want to get my thought back from last week. But if you just mentioned about the timing of, if we should tell the truth, I say, yeah, last week I said being on one accord, both people being in prayer, both people being of the same mindset when it comes to talking to the Lord, the Christ likeness, not identical, but on a similar path. He or she might be several steps ahead of the other, but at least they're both focusing on praying and doing Christ-like things. So getting back to what you just said about whether to tell the truth or not, I think that person that is in that position of, well, should I tell her now or should I wait? Should I tell him now or should I wait? I think at that moment is where prayer should come in. Lord, what should I do? When should I tell him what's going on? When should I just come right out and be honest with him and tell him the whole truth? Show me when I should say that. Because we remember we are trying to be honest with one another. We're trying to be open. We're trying to be fair. We're not trying to create a act of being suspicious, which is going to lead to lack of trust, which is going to lead to more issues and more downhill drama. So we want to nip that in the bud. And I say, should you're saying to tell the truth or not?
No. I think you should tell the truth. I just say there's a time that you have to tell the truth.
Right. Eventually, the truth should come out, though, right?
Yeah, I think the truth should come out eventually. Now you're in a dilemma where people who got an outside child, and do you go in there, you tell the person about the outside child right away, or do you let them find out 20 years from now when they meet each other in the grocery store? You got those sins of the past that you done passed the turn. When you're traveling and you pass the road to turn and and then turn around and go back, you have to go to take the next exit, you go 3 miles. Some people just don't do that, but that's still an issue. You take the secret to the grave. I'm just being picking right now with people.
I'm saying, but you're right. That analogy that you just gave about that unknown child, I don't think that's something that should be pushed under the rug. I don't think that's something that should be delayed very often. I think that's something, that particular thing, I think that other partner should know about that before marriage. I really do. I don't think that kind of, because why? That's a human being. That's not a thing. Oh, I bought this car 6 months ago, and I know I should have told you that, we're trying to watch our money and all of this kind of stuff. A car is not the same as a human being. That's a thing. You can replace a car. You cannot replace a person. So I don't think that the secret about a child is to me, is just crazy. Just come on out with it and say, listen, I had this baby, or I got this girl pregnant such and such a time, and I really want to have a relationship. Just tell them, just come on out with it and put it all on the table about that child, how it came about, where mama is, because you don't want no baby mama drama popping up after you got married. So to avoid all of that, lay it out on the open. I don't think that should be kept a secret. I really don't. Nothing like that. Now, if you're talking about
in other words,
money,
you just told them to go file for divorce.
No, this is before marriage. That's why I say
no. I'm talking about marriage. That's the part you made in here: marriage or a very, very, very intimate relationship. That's the dilemma that I presented. Do you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
When do you tell it?
At
when?
any time. That's right. When? So I guess you proved my point.
But are they married?
Do I think the truth should come out? I said yes. But if you do something and you don't want your marriage going to be over, and you really want your marriage, then do you go in there, sit down right now, and go tell your wife, or your wife go in there and tell her husband that something happened today that is detrimental to going forward in our marriage?
My question to you on this point is, are the couple already married or not?
Yeah, yes. It wouldn't be no problem with it if it wouldn't be a dilemma if they weren't married. That it wouldn't be as deep as a dilemma. Truth is truth, okay? You do have to be honest to your brother, your sister, your friends. But I've created the most ultimate dilemma. Yeah.
After, let me get this straight.
How is it so hard for you to get straight?
Because I want the people to understand what we're saying here.
Yeah.
The question is, there's this child, and whoever the parent is, whether it's the wife or the husband, they want to tell their spouse about this child. When did this child occur? Okay.
Now, why does that matter?
It does matter.
Adultery and they got somebody pregnant. Now I'm talking about why they were married.
They were already married, and he or she stepped out on. Let me finish.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
They were already married, and one or the other stepped out during the marriage. They stepped out during the marriage, and oops, 2-3 months later, they found out there's a baby on the way.
Ain't no oops.
I'm saying
they stepped out doing what they were doing. This, yeah. Yes.
So this happened after they were married, and you're saying, should I tell her or him now that this baby is coming and it's not his or hers? It's not my husband's. It's not my wife's child. It's somebody else's child. So when is a good time, is what this person is saying that stepped out. When is a good time for me to tell him or her that I stepped out and now this baby's on the way? I don't think it should be put off, because the baby is definitely his or hers. So there's no question. They already confirmed that it's his or hers, right? I think that it should come on out in the open. Now, it's up to the couple how serious and deep into each other they are, because it might hurt worse if you wait 10 years to tell them. The child in school in the 3rd or the 4th grade, and now you just telling me? Why you wait 10 years before you told me? That's going to create another problem. Why didn't you tell me right up front that this had happened? Okay, it's risky. You messed up. Now, it depends on how strong that marriage is as to whether or not it's going to uphold when you tell me right now or you tell me 10 years from now. I think it'll be worse 10 years later. Because the question is going to be, you knew about this child all this time and you didn't say anything? Why didn't you tell me? So therefore, it would be worse. The longer you wait, the worse it will get. That's my opinion. Go on and get it over with.
I think you came closer to answering the question than I've seen anybody do. Let me get back in the middle. We presented it is the truth. Now, you basically just said, if that was you basically just said, I don't want this marriage anymore. It's over.
I don't what?
I don't want this marriage anymore because it's over because your husband's gonna leave you. There's probably a 90% chance that he will.
And it's a 90% chance that you'll separate after 10 years too.
Yeah.
After you've built up some things together. After you have built up some things together, 10 years worth of living together, accomplishing things, doing things, establishing your household, all of this 10 years worth of stuff. And then, oops, by the way, I need to tell you about this child that's 10 years old. That is not right.
That's what I said. You might well go ahead and prepare to be single because you're about to be single.
You should prepare for that when you found out that the child is pregnant. Is she going to have a baby?
That's right. There you go. So those who out there listening, y'all, if you done went out there and done something like that, it doesn't have to be a child either. It's, I guess people are saying that if you commit adultery, either you're going to tell it or you're not going to tell it. If you done spent all the money in the bank account, either you're going to tell it or you're not going to tell it. If your work husband or your work wife done borrowed $500 from you, how are you going to justify that missing from the income? Bank account. If your daughter has gotten pregnant and you didn't tell her dad, how are you going to handle that? In high school, and she got pregnant and she kept her stomach either taped up or wrapped up all the way through her pregnancy. And it looked like she just gained a little bit of weight because she didn't want to tell her parents. And she, all of a sudden in class, she just broke down and got physically sick. And then she went and had a baby. So they found out, a classmate.
Oh.
Yeah, so they found out anyway that she was pregnant. So she might well have faced the music when she got pregnant and not try to put that baby in danger by keeping her stomach tied up that long.
Right.
So I just wanted to throw that out there before we left the marriage and went on to the situationship. I'm you see it all the time on the internet. You'll see a guy, not all the time, but you'll see a guy sitting there talking to a girl, and he'll say, if I tell you this, will you get mad? If I tell you this, will you get mad? I really want to tell you, and the girl sitting there like, no, I'm gonna be fine. You can be honest. And the guy's like, can I really be honest with you? Are you sure? Because I want to tell you what happened. She's like, sure, I'm not gonna be mad at all. And then all of a sudden he said something like, well, last night I got weak and I cheated on you. You did what? She started beating him up. I mean, you gotta, I had a situation like that in my marriage. I hadn't committed adultery, and but I did want to tell my wife something. So I planned the whole trip so we could both, we both seemed like we was a little rough around the edges. Like we've probably been married 7 years or something, 8 years. I was like, yeah, I want to really talk up front with her about some things. And long story short, I went off to the beach. This is gonna be funny, y'all. Nice woman. And I'm like, yeah, I was just telling some things that went through my mind. And I know she's gonna think that that's not right, or it was, And boy, when I sat down to tell her, had a nice oceanfront room too, and everything. I think when I tell her what I gotta tell her, she was gonna say, "Oh, that was nice of you. At least you didn't, follow through with all of that, and you were able to get the strength to tell me. It's like a little minor confession." Man, I just knew that was gonna go over well. It did not go over well. It did not. I tried to, being honest, that, I should have stayed home and we could have battled it out rather than spend that time, probably about $100 and some, almost $200 a night, the ocean front. But we were supposed to be having a good time with our feet kicked up, walking through the sand. And here I go confessing some stupid stuff and ruin the whole, weekend vacation. Oh boy. So, anyways, all right. I didn't want that to last that long. My bad. We got to talk about situationship now, because that's what single people wound up in, and getting in a situation. I don't know. Did you have something to say more about the honesty?
No.
Okay.
It pays to be honest, and the consequences fall where they may.
That's right. That's right.
I don't think one should delay telling the truth. The longer you delay, the worse it gets. That's my opinion.
Right. I think it's, and some people are teetering on the edge right now. All right. So on to a situationship. Romantic or sexual relationship that lacks formal definition, label, or commitment, often described as more than friends, but less than committed partnerships. It's a blend of situation and relationship, characterizing connection with ambiguous boundaries, inconsistency, non-exclusive, or often resulting in emotional uncertainty. Ladies and gentlemen, a situationship is the same thing as the old school friends with benefits. Okay? That's what that friends with benefits is. I see you when I see you, and we share some common ground, either sex or food or fun or, without commitment and without any kind of negative energy. It was like you saw a person and y'all did what y'all did. Y'all had fun, laughter, played cards. You didn't necessarily have to enter into any type of guilty pleasure. But, in this case, a situationship is, describing a relationship. But the friends with benefits, and then you wouldn't get a phone call the next day saying, "Where you at? Where you been? What you doing? Who you with?" So the friends with benefits, by the culture in my community's definition, let me not shrink the world to my place, but let me just tell you about my area. In my area, that's what it was. And you didn't catch girls crying because you didn't see them in a... Now, that was friends with benefits. Seems like to me, friends with benefits in the older generation, which would be baby boomers, was I see you when I see you. If you get pregnant, you just got pregnant. You just raised the baby. And I'm going to send you some cash, or I'm going to drop something by. I'm going to clean the baby, or the one saying, pregnant. It's my child. I'm going to raise the baby. And she may or may not have leaned on the man to take care of the child. So, but now to a situationship, if you have a relationship that is really like you are in a relationship, but you're not, then that person feels like there's a commitment there, even when you're not verbalizing it, even when you're not saying it. You act like it's there. You act like you're dating, but you're actually not. And so you're accountable to that person, but you think you're not. It's the most confusing thing. And I've been in, I fell in, I was about to say two, but I fell into one. Whew. Yeah, it's really, I know I was in one by full definition. So single people that's listening, that's in the situationships, you got a chance to come up for air because you already hurt the person and they may or may not want to ring, but they do want you. Yeah, they want you. They may not want to be married in a picket fence, but they want all of you. And you thinking that wasn't the agreement. We just fell into what we fell into. I don't care how you fell in it. I don't care how you fell in it. You there? Now you just woke up in the middle of the night looking at your phone and it's buzzing. You don't know whether to answer that phone or not because you said this is not your girl. This is just somebody you know. This is just a friend. This is just a friend with benefits. I didn't tell her I was going to do all of this and walk down the aisle with her, and I didn't tell her to call me every night. Well, I didn't tell him he could come over every day. So now you done got his nose wide open, and you wonder why he walking around your house, down up and down your street. You're wondering why he down at the bottom floor outside your window saying, Juliet, oh, where art thou? It's just Romeo. He throwing rocks up there trying to get your attention. You wonder why you don't sit by yourself no more at church because this person, you don't. I'm gonna just tell it like it is, Pastor. Them kids done hit it, and now they can't stay away from each other. And so now it's your job to just kind of ease them apart if you can, or ease them together in the future if they make it. But that's the situation, Ms. Nada. And it's hard to break it because you do get a soul tie out of it. And I'm not laughing at anybody that's got in one by mistake. I'm not laughing at you. No. Not gonna do it. It's hard. Tell us about your situationship, madam. No, don't do it. 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 Oh boy, poor fella.
Who said I had a situationship? I'm listening to you. I'm like,
you know how long you been single? How long you been single? You can't even remember.
I've been single a long time.
Exactly.
A long time. And have I ever been in a situationship? The way you described it with what you just said, no.
Because I think you were vocal. You shut that mess down as quick as you could. You're like, wait a minute, nah, this ain't happening. The third night, you was like, wait a minute, now hold it. Skirt.
Yeah, pump the brakes here.
Yeah.
I think that your definition is fine. I don't disagree with anything you said. And the way you described it, I would say the same thing. Don't you do it. Don't do it. If you can get away from it, then you get away from it. Because first of all, it's not a good feeling. Nobody likes to be hurt in any shape, form, or fashion. Nobody likes to be misled. And so that's why I go back to what I said a little bit ago about being honest and upfront. If it's possible, sometimes, okay, we talking real life, folks. Let's talk real life. Okay.
I already got one disagreement, so go ahead.
Sometimes, depending on the two people, and we all know this, sometimes chemistry kicks in, and sometimes it can be overwhelming, and sometimes you'll find yourself in a fix. I get that. We're all human. If we're old enough, some of us have experienced such a thing as that, where the chemistry is there and it is what it is. Now that it is what it is, and now it was what it was, which means that's over now. Like you were saying in your example, one of the partners can't seem to walk away because they got stuck and it wasn't no walking away for them. Whereas one partner might say, now, look, now, wait a minute, hold on. To avoid any future encounters, we already know that there's an attraction there. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do? Where do we go from here? Do we just continue like we're doing? Or do we just back up and say, no, let's just back off before it gets any further, any more deep than it is? Because truth of the matter is, with some people, the more you are together, the more you want to be together because you can't get enough of each other. That's the truth of the matter is sometimes that happens. Other times it don't happen because it wasn't that you went and did what you did one time and it wasn't all that. So I'm just trying to be real here, but it depends on the couple. If the couple is agreeing that they indeed are still attracted to each other after the first encounter, then it's up to them. They need to make a decision. How are they going to do? Is this situationship going to go anywhere? Is it going to just stay where it is, or is it going to get worse? Or are you just going to back up? Is it one of those hit and miss things? Well, we're talking about feelings here.
There's a sneaky link factor, though. They could have been just doing the sneaky link thing, and one of them was a side piece, and the other one was, just in it for real.
Right.
The side piece was in it for real, and it with kicks and giggles was all over.
Right. Then that's when the situationship sounds like to me in that scenario, the situationship might be getting ready to go to the next level. Either you're gonna, either you're gonna go down and out, or you're gonna move forward and stay together. Is it going to become anything, or are they just going to be going around in a circle? I think some clarity need to be made as that situationship, as it becomes more like a relationship. Then I think some clarity need to be made and made clear that other person does not want to carry it any further. This is all it's going to be. I'm not interested in taking it to the next level, going on up to the relationship thing. Make it clear and don't be going back and forth, because then you playing with the person's feelings, and that is not fair. That's not fair. It's not right.
Now
you don't play with a person's feelings like that.
Now here's where I want to disagree with you earlier, especially when you're talking about playing with feelings. Some people want to be lied to. Some people think they're already being lied to. So if a part of a relationship is, tell me how don't tell me how bad I am. Tell me how good I am. Some people think, and now I've been in trouble with that before, by not telling the person how bad they were. Okay? I don't mean in the bed or anything. By not emphasizing, let me clean this up to present it the best way, by not emphasizing on the things that I didn't like about them. I didn't tell them about them until later, because at this point, it wasn't my position to be critiquing people and telling them how they, whether I think they're presenting their best person. So I know I've said this before, so I can make it even shorter than I did last time. Yeah, I've been accused of being deceiving because I didn't say the things that I didn't agree with. I mean, that's just pure ratchet to keep correcting somebody or thinking you correcting them or telling them you disagree. That's about like I don't eat meat. Ain't nobody ask you whether you eat meat or not. You ain't gotta tell everybody you don't eat meat. Just order a vegetarian plate. It's not always necessary that because you're gonna make other people, or you can make other people at the table feel like they're eating unhealthy, in which we probably are. But we ain't gonna change right there at that one dinner just because you're a vegetarian. And all of a sudden now I'm gonna send my chicken plate back because you're not eating meat. So, I was just not majoring on that person's issues, And so that people feel they're deceived when, or can feel like you deceived them by letting them think on in their head and letting them have their fantasy if they have one and act the way they should. Oh, I didn't know that would offend you. You should have told me. I didn't know you didn't like that. You should have told me. So a situationship is sort of a combination of if it's sexual, people are just tolerating you because they want what they're getting. I'm just shooting it straight. So for the single people, I know that's you just tolerating them because let me clean this up a little bit. You're just tolerating that other person because you like that part of them more than anything else. You like the way they cook. Oh yeah. I seen some people. I just love the way they cook. They can say what they can say to whatever they want to say to me. Make me upset. I love that doggone dish that they made because they, often say that that's my best dish and blah blah blah. So I sit down and dine with you. I even buy the ingredients, if I can afford it. But I like the dish, and some people like that other dish, and they'll put up with anything until you talk about getting married and commitment, and then they start sweating. Oh Lord, look at the time. I gotta go. I'm late for work. You want to go to the movies?
Situationship.
Yeah.
I had some similar to what you have been saying. I said my definition of a situationship is similar to what you were saying, but I like to add it's been my experience where now that I've gotten into this new terminology away from friends with benefits as being a situationship. Okay, it's a situationship. Keeping private, no commitment, convenient for one partner or both, not being seen in the public or a family environment, always being behind closed doors. Perhaps that's okay for the younger generation or not. The younger generation are just willy-nilly. They just go out there and do whatever. They don't care who see them. But not for the older people, the older singles, I would say, 40 and 50-year-olds and up. I think that it should be a different way of handling things. But then again, if it's a situationship, then that person just flat out does not want a commitment, period. And it shows in the behavior between the two. Nice to you, friendly with you, do the minimal for you. Don't go out of their way too often to do too much of anything. But they care for your company, but they're keeping it at arm's length, so to speak. That's a good word back in the day.
It is.
Arm's length.
Yeah.
Not too close. And if it gets too close, then we're going to back up. Or we're going to go the other way. When you see that kind of situation going on in between the two of you, then it's clear that one really does not want to spend too much time. Now, the question is, why bother at all? Why even go through all of that? If you don't want to be bothered, you don't care for that person's company like that, then just, just don't even bother, especially if you see the other person is trying to get closer and you're steady pulling away, or vice versa, whichever one it is, the male or the female. If somebody shows you that they don't really want to be around you like you want them to, then I think that it's in your best interest to avoid any future feelings, hardship, hurt, is to just step away yourself.
Well, maybe they just want to be friends with you.
Space. Huh?
Maybe they just want to be friends with you.
Okay, well, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
And we definitely going to have to continue this next time on situationships.
Yep.
And because of that, it's such a broad subject. We want to continue, folks. We want to clear up any type of ambiguities that might be in one's mind, spirit. Thank you, Lord, for this time. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for your love and your genuineness and showing some of us, Lord, and let us live so that we can show others that the truth is we don't want to hurt anybody. We want to care about people because that's what you want us to do, care about others and make it genuine. So, Lord, I thank you for this time once again as we share on this Let's Talk Real Life show with Coach Garrison and myself. We give you the praise and honor for all opportunities. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, another broadcast of Let's Talk Real Life with Miss Nada Manning. I'm your co-host, Coach Vernon Garrison. You guys, thank you for joining us on WECU. This is Awesome Radio 107.5. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining us. Love you guys. See you next time.